had a dream the other night that I haven't been able to stop thinking about. What's funny is that I don't even remember much about the dream itself. I don't remember what the disagreement was about. I don't remember the details. What I remember is how I felt. Isn't that the way it is? We always remember how we feel. I remember feeling irritated, and at first I thought it was because someone was telling me what I should or should not do. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized that wasn't what bothered me. What bothered me was the assumption underneath it. The assumption that I needed their approval. And in the dream, I did something that surprised even myself. I got up and I left. No explanation, no defense, no attempt to make sure they understood where I was coming from. I just left. And if you've known me for any length of time, you know that caught my attention, because that wasn't always me. Later in the dream, I came back and someone handed me the clothes I had changed out of before I left. And for some reason, that image stayed with me all day. Not the conversation, not the disagreement, the clothes. The more I thought about it, the more I realized those clothes, they weren't just clothes at all. They were an old version of me. A version that explained everything. The version that thought if I could just find the right words, people would finally understand. The version that stayed in conversations too long when I knew they weren't going anywhere. The version that felt responsible for making sure everyone saw my intentions correctly. The version that worked overtime managing other people's perception of me. And if I'm being honest, I wore that outfit for a lot of years. Have you ever noticed how uncomfortable it feels when someone misunderstands you? How quickly you start rehearsing what you should have said, what you should say, what you will say, how badly you want to explain yourself, how tempting it is to send one more text, have one more conversation, offer one more explanation, just so they'll finally understand where you're coming from. I know I used to do that too, because somewhere along the way I started believing that if someone misunderstood me, it was my responsibility to fix it, to make them understand. And looking back now, that's exhausting. Because the people who genuinely wanted to understand me usually didn't require a long explanation. And the people who had already decided who I was, no explanation was ever enough. That's the part I wish I had understood sooner. Not every misunderstanding is yours to fix. Not every assumption needs to be corrected. And not every opinion requires a response. That one's hard, especially when the opinion is of you and it's not flattering. And also, not every relationship deserves unlimited access to your energy. The older I get, the more I realize that growth isn't always becoming someone new. Sometimes growth looks like retiring an old version of yourself. The fixer, the peacemaker, the translator, the over-explainer, the woman who believes every boundary needs supporting documentation. Remember, as I always say, we're not in court. Maybe that's why those clothes showed up in the dream. Not because I needed them, but because I was being given an opportunity to put them back on. And this time, I didn't. And maybe some of you are going to start seeing your own growth show up in your dreams too. Maybe you'll notice yourself walking away from conversations that once kept you trapped. Maybe you'll notice yourself refusing responsibilities that were never yours to carry. Maybe, just maybe, you'll stop defending decisions you've already made. And maybe you'll stop explaining boundaries to people who benefit from you not having them. And maybe you'll wake up one morning and realize you're no longer playing a role you spent years performing. Because sometimes our subconscious notices the changes before we do. And if people try to hand you back an old version of yourself, you don't have to put it back on. Strong doesn't mean exhausted, and regulated doesn't mean passive. This is life after survival.